Revelation 2825. From the 25th of July 1943. Success or failure of teachers. The state of complete ignorance is by far more favorable for people than that they are in a knowledge which does not correspond to the truth and they do not want to depart from their knowledge. Doctrines which contradict their knowledge are unacceptable to them until they have subjected them to an examination. But the human being believes that he can eliminate such an examination because he believes himself to be in the truth. Thus his will refuses to reflect and weigh both pieces of knowledge against each other. He sticks to his knowledge. He does not want to surrender anything, and therefore the truth cannot be imparted to him. If the human being is completely ignorant, that is, if he has not adopted his own view or knowledge from fellow human beings, it is far easier to stimulate him to think through a few teachings, and he can be led to the truth far sooner because his resistance is not as great. Therefore, it will also be easier to spread the gospel where it has not been preceded by teachings which have not flowed from the source of divine wisdom. Erroneous teachings are mostly accepted without thought, without resistance, whereas the truth finds rejection and open resistance. And yet it is the human being's own fault if he walks in error, for both are offered to him and his will has to decide for itself what he chooses. He is constantly given the opportunity to weigh different opinions against each other and to examine them for their truth. And he is also capable of such an examination as soon as he is serious about accepting what is recognized as right and rejecting the error. But where this serious will is not present, he does not pay attention to the truth either, that is, he does not consider it necessary to examine it but immediately rejects it. And thus the teacher always has a difficult time if the human being has absorbed too much earthly knowledge. For he seeks to fathom everything divine earthly and believes he can explain and justify everything intellectually. The more he detaches himself from God, the more mature and knowledgeable he feels, and the less he pays attention to the right knowledge which leads him again into the kingdom of the supernatural, which demands faith from him and enlightenment of the spirit. And therefore his spiritual state remains dark and lightless, despite all attempts of the bearers of truth to break through this darkness and to guide the fellow human being into right knowledge. Error is therefore not recognized as error, and consequently not rejected, and truth is equally disregarded because it is not recognized as truth. Nevertheless, time and again the attempt must be made to stimulate people's thinking, because then, the bearers of light, the knowing beings of the beyond, are more likely to find access to them, and they can continue the work of enlightenment they have started, which, however, the human being does not feel as imposed knowledge but rather believes that he has gained other knowledge himself. Only then will the teacher on earth be successful, because he is now supported by the beings of light insofar as they have already influenced the human being's thoughts such that they are no longer inaccessible to the truth which is now presented to them. Amen.